Alrighty, so, again, I hate to give you guys really scary news. I really do hate to give you guys scary news, but we do have some, and that's not super fantastic. So, let's go ahead and see what we've got to cover. So, Brian Tyler Cohen went to talk to Tommy Lauren for a little bit about the deportations that have been happening in the United States. Let's see how that turned out, huh?
If Democrats really want to die on the hill of bringing back plane loads of criminal, illegal alien gang members...
But you haven't proven that they're criminals. That's the problem.
Be my guest.
Honestly, like, look, I will be the first one to say if there is a criminal, if there's a gang member in this country, someone who has committed any crime, big or small, get him out. Sure, I'll absolutely concede that. We don't need criminals in this country. But if you're talking about...
Okay, so I do have some pushback on this one. I do. I recognize that he's saying this so that he can use it as part of the debate. I understand. I fully get that. But, like, can we accept that there's still some nuance there, right? If you are part of a gang, that is likely a result of the environment that you were born in. You are likely in an environment where gangs form because of economic disparity. If you are in an environment where gangs form because of economic disparity, you're more likely to commit crimes for survival. I feel like, while yes, we need to prosecute people who do crimes, like that's just kind of a basic thing, I feel like we do still have to have some nuance there, recognizing why those crimes happen in the first place, why that economic disparity happened in the first place. Like, people who are part of gangs, not all the time, but some of the time, are just victims of being in a system that sucks for all of us. They just happen to be in an area where it sucks a little bit more. But, I don't know, that's my takeaway. I guess my first disagreement was with Brian and not Tommy Loren, but I also have disagreements with her, so let's go.
About somebody who you...
Actually, but I do agree that you need to have due process for illegal immigrants still. Because if you don't have due process, how the fuck did you figure out that they were illegal?
Don't know because you haven't afforded them due process, then you can't just make that claim.
But the fact remains, President Trump is not only securing our border, but he is deporting criminal, illegal aliens. And if Democrats want to stand in the way of that... and
no, just say they're deporting people. I hate this fucking mousy language that gets used when it comes to anybody who's engaged in a crime of any kind. Where instead of calling this person a people, you're not a person who did a crime. You're not a person who came here illegally. You're not a person with a green card, which is sometimes the fucking case. We've done that shit. We've deported people who have green cards and visas and things that they legally get to be here with. Instead of person who did X action, you are just criminal. You are not person who did a crime, you're criminal. You're not person who is here illegally, you're an illegal. I feel like anytime somebody uses that language, you should just stop them. Like, as they're mid-sentence, you stop them and you go, hold on, let's rewind. That's a person who did an illegal action. If we continue to use language where we define people by that action, then that is the thing that they are for the rest of their life. They never get a chance to fix themselves. They never get a chance to, like, for instance, Razor was bringing up a point, how by criminalizing gang activity the way that we've done, by going about it the way that we've done, you don't give a gang member an opportunity to become a former gang member. And as a former gang member, be a force for good that is able to keep more people from getting into gangs and engaging in gang violence. You don't get that opportunity anymore. You just have people who get institutionalized and then are forever part of a revolving door prison system where the only way they can survive anymore is being part of a gang.
They want to tell their constituents, hey, vote for us in the midterms, vote for us in 2028. We'll make sure that the criminal aliens come back. Far be it from me to stand in your way. Continue that message. Best of luck with it.
All right. And if Republicans want to run on, hey, we can disappear you with no due process, far be it from me to stand in your way. If Republicans want to turn the United States into Russia, where we disappear political opponents with zero due process, sending them to foreign gulags somewhere, if that's really what you're running on behind the
fucking hate her smile. I don't know what it is. I hate, and this is everyone, I hate anybody in a debate who just does the shit-eating grin smile. I fucking can't stand that shit.
The banner of the party of law and order, be my guest.
If Democrats really want to die...
There were more clips from this debate, and there's more, like there was a whole segment here on YouTube.
Democrats really want to die on the hill of bringing back plane loads of criminal, illegal alien gang members.
But you haven't proven that they're criminals.
Please.
That's the...
Yeah, there's a whole 20-minute episode. If you want to watch the whole 20-minute episode, you can't. Hey, look, I'm not the only one! I'm not the only one! The way she keeps smiling is unhinged! Oh my fucking god. Oh my fucking god. Anyway, the reason this is scary, the reason this is spooky, Trump told the Salvadorian autocrat Bukele, which I'm assuming that's the way you pronounce that. I haven't heard the word spoken, so. Bukele, that he wants him to build more of his hard labor torture prisons in El Salvador so that he can send American citizens there next. Trump was speaking quietly and privately to Bukele in the Oval Office away from reporters during that conversation, but the president was captured on a hot mic from the Salvadorian government's live stream saying, homegrowns are next. The homegrowns. You got to build about 5 more places. It's not big enough. It's not just people who came to the United States illegally. Your own president, our president, has stated that he wants to send American citizens there. No! No! There's Canadian things to do to the White House before that happens. Trump to the press, I'd like to go a step further. I said to Pam Bondi, I don't know what the laws are. We always have to obey the laws. That's why Trump circumvents the laws and then tries to make sure that the laws get changed to do what he wants. By the way, by Canadian things, I of course mean saying sorry and covering it in maple syrup. Those are awfully Canadian things, in my estimation. Says we always have to obey the laws, but we also have homegrown criminals that push people into subways. I'd like to include them in the groups of people that, to get out of the country. Bukele also did not wear a suit, opting for a sports jacket, shirt without collar, and no tie. Nobody in the Trump White House seemed to mind. I guess they're only outraged when our closest allies do it. Since the Trump admin claims that there is nothing they can do to get Kilmar Abrego Garcia back from the Salvadorian prison since he is outside the U.S., Bukele was asked if he would agree to send him back. How can I smuggle a terrorist in the U.S.? Of course I'm not going to do it. The question is preposterous. Why do you want terrorists on the streets? I don't have the power to return him to the U.S. So this is funny because our government says that we don't have power to get anybody that we've deported to the El Salvadorian prisons. We don't have the power to get them back. And the that's fucking crazy to me. And of course, the actual person who is in charge of all that says, I don't have any power to do that. Everybody's going to pass the buck here. That's what's so terrifying about this. The U.S. has a ally that is willing to set up camps to deport prisoners from the United States to go engage in hard labor or get fucking slaughtered. Like, that's another option. Just get fucking slaughtered. And that's terrifying. And I say that semi-jokingly, but I have some images to show you. Now, A lot of this stuff is... The scariest part about this is not what we can see. The scariest part about this is the fact that there are no search results for this anymore. Google Maps apparently does not show this shit anymore. Here, this is the scary thing. So, here's a shot that was sent to me from above the containment center. Center of Decontamination, the Terrorism Confinement Center, abbreviated CSOT. That is what Google shows for that. And now, it shows a blank. That's really fucking scary, but let's check on that real quick ourselves. Well, that's also something that's spooky, and trying to find it on Google Earth. Has anyone seen the disturbing images of CSOT prison on Donald Trump jail tracker? Has anybody done the Google search thing? Then we click on that, and then it's gone. Why is all this shit getting blanked out? It's just spooky. Anybody else send me a link to what I should be looking for? Because the stuff that I'm finding is kind of scaring me a bit. Why is the information even not on Facebook? That's just kind of weird. So the picture that's used as part of the composite image is from March 20th, 2024. There's not been an update on this in a while. Has there been an update on anything else here? There's a more recent image of the landscape. Interesting. So we have at least a few more recent images there. But the most recent... Oh, no, sorry. These are actually older. These are older images. So the U.S. has decided to take dystopian stories for the ideas on how to run the government. Yup. As it says, still, the surrounding images are from 2023. Yeah, no, I corrected myself. I can see 325 in Google Earth. That area looks like it's been covered in soil. So I'm not seeing what was sent to me originally. But it's definitely a year old. The images are definitely a year old. However, so that bit aside, that's still spooky, the way it was sent to me. But here's the part that freaks me the fuck out. So maybe try searching it by looking up CSOT directly? I mean, if we look up CSOT directly, it takes us there. And then it gives us a whitehouse.gov post with just Donald Trump going, "America is back." That's fucking... That's... Okay, so anything that could have been shown in the images here that's scary... Because again, like, yes, I understand the experience of seeing the images just kind of go blank is spooky. Are these bodies in blood? It's very hard to tell. But the spookiest thing to me, clicking on this and then getting this shit. I should not get this shit. I really shouldn't. Did the White House Gov website used to look, I don't know, more boring? Like it probably should. Anyway, that aside, here, let's terrify you guys just a smidge more. Just a smidge more. Why can't I click on this? Hold up. There we go. I can click on it again. Trump official declaring anyone who preaches hate for America will be deported.
There'll be an appeals process that could go on for some time. Will Mahmoud Khalil be deported from the United States? Quick answer on that, please.
Yes, he will, as will anyone who preaches hate for America. His organization said they wanted to eradicate Western civilization. Look, under this country, under this administration, under President Trump, people who hate America, who threaten our citizens, who rape, who murder, and who support those who rape and murder are going to be ejected from this country. And I just wish a fraction of the media outrage that we had over deporting terrorists and deporting monsters and deporting their sympathizers from this country was spent crying over the blood that was shed of American women and children over the last 4 years, or crying over the 500,000 children that Biden trafficked into this country, or crying over the neighborhoods destroyed by gangs and drugs and fentanyl.
Said 500,000 children that Biden trafficked into this country? What the fuck is that coming from? So, just to get this clear, if you are a United States citizen, you fall under the category of anyone who preaches hate for America. I am simply taking his words on face value. I am taking his words on face value. Guess what? Project 2025 is well and doing exactly the shit they said they would do. And I can remember there being people that said that that's not what's going to happen, or that's not what they're going to do. God, I want to shoot myself. Aether says, oh, Suris, you are preaching hate for America right now. Absolutely. I guess I've got to get deported. I don't know to where. I've got my passport. I'll just fucking go. Trump official Stephen Miller's recent declaration that anyone who preaches hate for America will face deportation has ignited alarm online, with critics warning that the statement disregards First Amendment protections. The controversy began during a Monday morning appearance from the White House Deputy Chief of Staff for Policy on Fox News. Miller was defending the deportation of a Salvadorian national alleged to be involved in gang activity, as well as the pending removal of Mahmoud Khalil, a protester accused of supporting Hamas. While Miller discussed a federal judge's authorization to deport Khalil, the online debate that followed quickly turned towards broader implications for dissent and political expression. In response to questioning by Fox anchor Bill Hemmer, Miller asserted that Khalil would be, and went on to claim that everyone else who preached hate towards the American country would be at risk. Miller tied his rhetoric to a broader Trump administration stance that individuals who commit violent acts or who express support for those who do will be removed from the country. However, his sweeping language about deporting individuals for anti-American speech quickly drew intense criticism. Social media users and legal analysts raised immediate concerns, pointing out that the expressing dissent or criticism for the government is protected First Amendment speech. One user commented, it's like they just skipped the very First Amendment. Another one said that they're coming for free speech, and when it isn't free speech that fits their propaganda, talk about a totalitarian regime. Another user added, democracy doesn't work like that. So you remember when the right wing accused the left of coming for freedom of speech, of attacking freedom of speech? It was when we, requested that people use the right pronouns for people. That was considered an assault on free speech. But this shit right here, this isn't an attack on free speech. No. This is good old homegrown American bullshit. Jesus. The backlash has reignited broader debates over the limits of free speech, especially as civil rights liberties fall under scrutiny. While immigration enforcement remains a core theme of President Trump's platform, critics are increasingly questioning whether rhetoric like Miller's is a precursor to more aggressive suppression of dissent. It is! It is. In the first 100 days that Donald Trump has been president, this shit has only gotten worse. It has been one event after another event after another event after another event, and each event keeps getting worse than the fucking last one. Yes, it is a precursor to things getting worse, because that is what history shows us. That is what we have seen repeatedly over the course of time with this administration. It's terrifying. But I know what to do. We can't save Mahmoud Khalil. We can't. We can be part of active efforts to try to save him. That is a thing we can do. But it's going to require all of us getting off of our asses and doing something. Aaron says, does that include the native born? He didn't make a distinction. He didn't make a distinction. So, there are some things to do. Right now, the only bulwark we have against Trump is the courts, and even there, we are failing horribly. So, what we need to do is we need to change where our advantages are. We need to have an advantage in the legislative branch. As much as we have some sort of defense in the judicial branch. So, there are a couple of ways to make this happen. For the people who currently are your representatives, whether they be local representatives, whether they be representatives in Congress, 5 calls is a wonderful way to harass your local politician. They are a fantastic way to do so. My politician, Marjorie Taylor Greene, does not respond to her calls, but blowing up her phone still is a good thing. If you would like a more automated way to do this, ResistBot is a great option that you have access to, but you need to do more than just ask your representative what to do. You need to point out to them that you will primary them, that you will vote against them in the primary where they are most likely to lose their footing. Whenever you are trying to get them to do what you need them to do. Lenari says, harass at home? Or does she have security? Okay, not literally harass. Anyway, also, you need to be able to make good on the threat to primary your politician. And there's 2 ways of doing so. One is by going on to Mobilize, or going onto Facebook, or going onto any area where you can get involved with your local political party, whatever it may be. Especially if that political party is the party that is most likely to have a person in power. You need to go to that party, and you need to begin the work of changing what the representative is willing to fight for. Start bitching at people. Start figuring out what it is you need changed. And right now, we need politicians who are willing to fight against Trump. We need more of them. We need Republicans with spines, and we need Democrats with boots that can get on the fucking ground. Then, if you would like to engage in even more of this, but maybe be a little further left, here's an idea. Go to the DSA website, it is linked below, and find where your chapter for the Democratic Socialists of America is. For me, my closest one is in Atlanta. And our next thing that is going to be happening, I say our next, but the DSA's next thing that is going to be happening is DSA 101, and it's happening on Saturday at 2 p.m. Now, you may find, like I have found, that it is hard to do this stuff. It is hard to have the time to do all of this. But I promise you, any little bit that you are able to do is helpful. And there are some big bits that can be helpful as well. Protests are a first step. Protests get people together to have a shared grievance where they can then talk, not online and not with phones, about different ways that they can oppose the current regime. If you would like to find where a protest is in your area, I would like to link you to the big list of protests. For instance, if I go to Georgia, our next one is Canceled Answers to Our Questions in Atlanta, Georgia. That's happening on Monday, April 21st at 7 p.m. at 5342 Tilly Mill Road, Atlanta, Georgia, at the Marcus Jewish Community Center of Atlanta. Join us for a discussion addressing political questions surrounding the actions of Chuck Schumer and Donald Trump. So this is entirely about trying to make sure that our politicians who have effectively forsaken us, Schumer and Trump, and of course more, we are getting things set up to hold them more accountable. If you would like to engage in more direct action, I would like to invite you to check out the Good Trouble Checklist, which has a whole bevy of things that you can be doing right now, and even has a follow-up that we are going to be covering in a second video. That all said, do understand that I, as a content creator, am very limited in what kinds of actions I am allowed to tell you that you should be engaging in if I want to continue having a platform where I can engage in giving information of any kind. So, that is not a suggestion to do anything. That is just me pointing out I am limited in my capacity. That said, if you ever need a motivating factor as to why you should be getting involved politically in some way, you always have the 10 stages of genocide, and you can always look at these and remember, oh yeah, this is the shit I'm fighting against. So I should be fighting hard. That said, let me know what you think in the comments section below. Subscribe if you haven't already, and as always, insert end of video tagline here. Hey, thanks for making it to the end of the video. I really could not do any of this without all of you. Those of you watching, and especially those of you who support me on Patreon. I wanted to go ahead and take a minute to thank all of you who do that, because with YouTube being what it is these days, I really cannot do this full time without the support from each and every one of you. Those people would be Red Joker, Purple Poundini, Jemshin, Britzkrieg, Jupe the Malignant, Michael, Ravalern, Mabbity Babbity, Astral Frontier, Tales of Atonement, Nixie Chan, Kiri Artemis, Victorian Alchemist, I'm not saying the last part of that, and you know that, Leela Ururaka, Arcton Arclacier, Kiratorian, Dren Hadamata, Jordan M, John L, Lord Bleck, Smiling Game Master, and Fireshard. Thank you so very much. But since you're here, why not go ahead and try watching another one? There should be one that's on the screen right now. And if you are a patron of mine, I wanted to go ahead and thank you again for all of your support. There is still a video you could press though, if you'd like. I would appreciate it just a little bit.